Good morning, First Unitarian. Hey, it's so good to see you all. It's been such a long summer. I'm so glad to be back. Would you all rise in body and or spirit? Find some energy in your toes, waking you up this morning, and we're going to do some singing to start our day. I've got two songs to sing with you. The first one is called Sanctuary. I'm going to sing it once through, and then I'd love for you all to sing it a few times through with me. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through, with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Join me. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through, with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. One more time. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through, with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Take a breath with me. Let's do one more. This is called Loosen, Loosen. We've done it in our sanctuary before, but just as a reminder, here's how it goes. Loosen, loosen. Yeah. Give that C minor, please. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. One last time. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Good morning. Thanks for singing with me. We'll sing both of those later in the service as well. Please be seated.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you here today. Hope it's cool enough in here for you. My name is Jan Dever, and I'm on the Board of Trustees here at First Unitarian Society of Denver. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. All people of goodwill are warmly invited to join us on this great journey of the mind and the heart and the spirit. If this is your first time with us today, please let the offering basket pass you by when it comes around. Your presence is gift enough here. We hope you will find one of us in the community room out there for coffee and conversation. And usually one of the Board of Trustees has a little yellow smiley mug, and we'll talk to you. You can learn more about the congregation's website, where you can also find our weekly email blast with information about activities and small groups. On the first and third Sunday, this being one of them, we do an offering here, and our offering goes to an organization from the Denver community, which has been chosen by the Giving in Action Committee. All cash and checks will be donated in full unless you designate otherwise. We will learn about the organization chosen to share our financial resources later today in the service. For the next hour, please silence your cell phones, quiet your minds, enjoy the gift of having Alicia Forde here today, and we hope you enjoyed the service.
Would you all take a moment to turn to your neighbors behind, in front of you, to your sides, and welcome them here to this space? Whether this is your first time here, your second time here, your umpteen zillionth time here, you are welcome. Please join me in singing a song of welcome. We are many, we are one, the light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul, a place has been made for you. Welcome.
Good morning, First Unitarian. Couple of little tiny things to let you know about. In your order of service on the back, there's a couple of memorials listed, and the second one, in a typo, the name of the second one is omitted. That person is Virginia Mount, and the mother to Carl Mount, and that memorial will be next weekend. The other thing on the back that I want to call your attention to is the Celebrate Community at Reunion notice. That's happening September 9th. You're going to want to be there. And the last thing, I am just thrilled and pleased and proud to welcome my old friend, Reverend Alicia Forde, back to our pulpit about once a year or so. Yeah. I've known Alicia, I don't know, 20-odd years, and only one of us looks older, and it's not her. So she has chosen our call to worship today as a poem by Mary Oliver called Invitation. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day for the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles? For a musical battle to see who can sing the highest note or the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth or the most tender? Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake, and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say, it is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life."
This old house, walls are crumbling underneath the painted sky. When the real thing's out there waiting, deep and wide as it is high. From this dry on us, love. From where I stand and from what I know, you should be a stranger at my door. But the part I played made me weary. I don't want to be there, no, not anymore. And I never knew who it was I was planning for. Love is trying to make it easy, giving it away free, and we want to pay. I belong to you like you belong to me. Let it be the truth, solid as the earth, anchor in our feet. My freedom is for you. Well, this moment might be perfect for coming out from under a painted sky. Love is trying to make it easy, giving it away free, and we want to pay. Don't Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us, love.
Good morning, friends. I'm Erin Kenworthy, your Director of Religious Exploration. If you're young or young at heart, come on up here. We're going to gather for our Time for All Ages. Today, we're going to go back to our question box from this summer, just to remind folks, if you ever have any questions about Unitarian Universalism or RE programming or anything at all that you want an answer to, this question box is out at the RE desk. And I do have 2 questions in here this morning that we're going to answer. This one is blank. Right. The first one is, can we have a pet blessing service? Aw, listen to that response. Of course we can. I've done this once before, not during a Sunday service, but at another private event. And so I wonder if there is anyone else who might want to help assemble this experience at First Unitarian. I imagine we might need to be creative about where we hold such a service. Yeah? And what time, so that as many people as possible could participate if they wanted to. I just have questions, and I think if I answer all the questions, I will probably be wrong. So I would love if somebody who asked this question, or if you think it's an awesome question and you want in, let's talk. Yeah? Good question. All right. Yeah. We have the tiniest visitor cutie over here in the corner. Esme, if you can, wave at her at some point this morning. So this other question is, how do we build even more community? Ooh, so I wrote a bunch of answers on the back, but I know I don't have all of them. I said, basically, getting together, and not just on Sunday mornings, which I want to remind you all that next week is our last Sunday to meet at 10 a.m. We're going to switch over to meeting at 10:30. So you have an extra 30 minutes to get here on time. And if you get here at 10, then you can just hang out with all the other amazing people who are here until service starts at 10:30. And then I said meeting at other times. And there are other times our community specifically gets together, like at committee meetings or on Saturday, September 9th from 4 to 7. We're having a party here. We're calling it Reunion with 2 U's. Yeah. And there'll be more information about that. And after church, an in-gathering on September 10th. We're going to do a family picnic at Cheeseman Park. Feel free to bring a lunch and come hang out at the playground with us. September 16th is a Saturday, and we're having a family dance here with a DJ and snacks in the evening. If some folks are interested, we can do a Mabon ritual, a family circle for a Wheel of the Year celebration. And that would be on September 23rd, which is a Friday. And then also things like our small group ministry. You can join a small group. You can go out to coffee with somebody that you've met during coffee hour. You can share your joys and concerns with somebody that you are willing to talk to here. You can have lunches, and you can build relationships. Church doesn't just happen here on Sunday mornings. It happens when we meet up outside of this building, or we invite people to come with us here, or we live our values out in our community. And that's one of the ways that we can do more community building. What do you friends down here think we could do to build more community? I covered it. I got all of it. We'll talk more when we're downstairs in RE. If you have any questions, the question box is there, or just come and talk to me, or ask somebody else who's here with a friendly face. Please talk to each other. Talk to somebody you haven't met before. Get to know one another, because it's those threads of connection that build the web that support all of us here. Thank you so much. Please join me in singing our children out for their programming this morning.
Would you please rise in body and or spirit? And we're going to sing Loosen, Loosen that we learned right at the beginning of the service. Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of your world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. I invite you to move while we sing. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. And hold. Time. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Hi, I'm Tina Proctor on the Giving in Action Committee, and I'm really excited to, hesitate to say introduce Peter Stolzman, because many of you know him, and he's done some wonderful concerts here. And he has an organization that is called Colorado Music Bridge, that he's created, a nonprofit. And I just wanted to read this one thing that it has on his professional biography. Peter's purpose is to be an access broker, building inclusive structures that support musicians in their careers and spread the joy of teaching, learning, and creating music.
Thank you. Well, thank you for inviting us here. Should I do this? It's a deeply meaningful gift that you give to organizations to receive your financial support. I'm always moved when I'm in the congregation, and so I'm really standing here with a very humble feeling and proud to represent our organization, Colorado Music Bridge, today. Your support will help us to increase our programming in schools and community centers, and to expand our paid artist teacher mentorship program so that every class can have 2 teachers. This is the kind of thing that many underfunded urban schools that we work with don't have. But suburban PTA groups fundraise for, because they know, trust me, I've done fundraisers for suburban PTAs, and we raised $180,000 for one of them. Yeah, and they paid me to play. So they know how much difference it makes to have two adults in the room. More individual attention for students, less burnout for teachers, cooler jam sessions in the class. And when a student is dysregulated, they can get their needs met without hijacking the flow of the instruction. So this year we have partnerships with public schools that serve an array of vulnerable populations, including young parents at Florence Crittenden High School, youth in detention in the criminal justice system at Gilliam Youth Services Center, and many other schools in DPS and beyond. Students in our impact music programs learn keyboard skills using our innovative and accessible Piano Atlas workbooks, songwriting and spoken word skills with the inspiring Acuna Black, aka Il7. And they record original works with us as their producers. In collaboration with teachers and peers, students co-regulate and immerse themselves in pro-social activities. And our teachers also facilitate activities using self-awareness, rhythm, breath, and various music activities to help students learn to self-regulate their emotions and energy. Our work is evolving. It's our best attempt at using music to truly make a better world. We thank you so much for your support. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and our website is www.coloradomusicbridge.org. Thank you.
Sometimes your life feels like a broken roller coaster, 1,000 useless moving parts. Sometimes you spend your nights too scared of getting closer, hiding out in the backseat of your car. You tell yourself it's raining, the clouds are in your head. You tell yourself it's better to jump before you fall again, before you lose it all again. Look up, do you see the sunlight? Look up, there's flowers in your hair. Hold on, 'cause somebody loves you. You know trouble's always gonna be there. Don't let it bring you to your knees. Look up. Mondays aren't always bright. Some days you lose the fight. Life can be beautiful if you let it be. It keeps taunting you with all kinds of mystery. It's a blank page for your poetry if you let it be. You tell, sorry, we're off. You tell yourself it's raining, the clouds are in your head. You tell yourself it's better to jump before you fall again, before you lose it all again. Look up, do you see the sunlight? Look up, there's flowers in your hair. Hold on, 'cause somebody loves you. You know trouble's always gonna be there. Don't let it bring you to your knees. Look up. Ooh, look up. Sometimes your life feels like a broken roller coaster, 1,000 useless moving parts. Look up, do you see the sunlight? Look up, there's flowers in your hair. Hold on, 'cause somebody loves you. You know trouble's always gonna be there. Don't let it bring you to your knees. Trouble's always gonna be there. Don't let it bring you to your knees. Look up.
Your gifts freely given this morning are gratefully received. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your support of the Colorado Music Bridge. Thank you, Peter, for the good work you do out there. Thank you. I also want to just take this moment and thank our caring team here at First Unitarian Denver. We had a memorial service yesterday, and a number of folks, Tess and Mary and others, showed up early and set up the reception and stayed late for it. And there's another memorial next weekend, and I know they're going to do the same thing. These talk about building community. That's how we build community. We show up for each other, and that's what our caring team does for us, week in and week out. If you're one of those caring team members, would you just stand up briefly so we can recognize and honor the good work you do? Thank you.
The poet Mary Oliver, in her poem Invitation, says, "It is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing. Do not walk by without pausing, lingering." Alice Walker wrote in The Color Purple, "I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field somewhere and don't notice it. People think pleasing God is all God cares about, but any fool living in the world can see the world is always trying to please us back." We come now to a moment of prayer, a moment of pause, in word, in silence, in music. With all that clamors for our attention, how often do we let ourselves be embraced by stillness? How often do we rest in the presence of our heartbeats, find sanctuary in our breathing? When last have you simply paused to notice your existence on this earth, to attend with wonder, with awe at the beautiful serendipity of being alive, to bask in the many ways that the world is trying to shine on you, trying to please you back? Slow with me now. And Brian gave us the invitation this morning just to breathe. Maybe allow your inhales and exhales to lengthen. And if it helps, maybe close your eyes. And we'll be in a space of silence and of stillness just for a moment. There is nothing to do here, no one to be, nowhere to go except right here, breathing and being on this fresh morning in the grace of the world that surely is holding us. staying in this place of stillness, of breath and breathing that connects us to one another. We lift up in prayer Diane Hoffman, who hurt her ankle last week, making it too hard for her to get to church this morning. As a collective, we send Diane healing thoughts and thanks to Dan and Chris Woods for filling in on video today. We hold in loving care Leah Davis, our beloved musician who is down with COVID, and welcome Gio, who's joined us this morning for worship. Joseph Shepard, Colleen Bryan's nephew, took his own life about a week ago after significant physical and mental illness. Joe was only 39 years old. There's a lot of pain in Colleen's family, and she could use our prayers and good vibes, all that we can send her way. Many of you will remember Dave Sander, longtime member here at First Unitarian, and one of our friendliest faces to guests and visitors. Dave is unfortunately well into dementia at this time and living with his son Brad in Grand Junction. As a collective, we send well wishes to our old friend Dave and much gratitude to his son Brad for taking such good care of him. And Brad sends his thanks to the community for being such an important place of love and grounding in his father's life. The Reverend Betty Pingle continues to slowly recover in a rehabilitation facility in Broomfield. She'll soon be moving to assisted living when she's well enough. Reverend Pingle requests no visitors at this time, but cards are always welcome. These cares and more we hold in our hearts. Taking solace in these words by the poet Wendell Berry, as he wrote in the piece of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I awake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world. So may it be. Amen.
When grace finds you, and it will, afraid, uncertain, feeling the weight of the world, grace reminds you, you are not alone. When grace finds you, and it will. When love rakes your heart wide open, and you feel awakened, alive to this moment now, in a flash, accepted as you are. When love opens your heart, you may find grace in a stranger's kind eye, in the rising sun, in the sky full of countless when grace finds you, and it will. When grace finds you.
Amen. I just want to thank our musicians, Lacey, Brian, Gio, thank you so much. You know, I feel like, yes. It is good to be here. It's good to be here with you. Oof. It's good to be here together on this morning, which, like every morning, is new and holy and full of promise. Thank you for being here, for creating this sacred space, for waking up and deciding to make the journey with your joys, your sorrows, your brokenheartedness, your aches, I know have many of them, your full schedules. Thank you for pausing in this moment to create worship, sanctuary for yourselves and for someone else. Friends, I truly look forward to being here every year. I hope Reverend Mike never stops inviting me. I will always say yes. I am so grateful that you make the space, you reach out, you invite me in. Thank you. As I pay attention to the myriad ways in which our hearts can be broken by the world around us, as I pay attention to the speed at which our lives have been catapulted back to consumerism post-pandemic, as I notice how much grief we and our communities are holding, yet not being given any space or time or resources to heal, to pause as a collective, I find myself reflecting on a reminder from the African philosopher Bayo Akomolafe. He quotes this proverb. He says, "The times are urgent, let us slow down." The times are urgent. Let us slow down. I want to get real with you. And this happened this morning, and I think I made some improvement. You know, sometimes you preach with people, right? They're with you, and you're on a journey together. Sometimes you preach for, you think you're a little ahead, and you have a message, so you bring it. And sometimes you preach to yourself. You preach the word you need to hear. So I'm thinking that today I might be preaching to. If you want to join me, I am so grateful. But just know this might not apply to any of you, which is okay. So I'm going to get a little real and a little bit confessional. Is that okay? All right. So I've been doing this thing lately. Been doing this thing where, and I did better this morning, I just want everybody to know, where when asked, "How are you doing? How have you been?" I quickly respond with busy, overwhelmed, exhausted, ready for a vacation. I'm not going to ask if anybody else does that. Remember, this is two. This is about me. Let's just assume I'm the only one. When asked, I respond with just how busy I have been, how busy I am, how busy I'm going to be in the future, how exhausted I am now, and if that isn't enough, I've also booked time in the future to be exhausted. I hear the times are urgent, let's slow down, and a shudder of anxiety runs right through me. The truth is, the times are urgent. I don't need to list all the things for you. You already know them. We are needed to fight for love and justice on every front, and aside from that, many of us need to hustle just to get by. Who has time to slow down? And if we slow down, who will provide? If we slow down, what on earth will happen to the earth and everyone and everything in it? The times are urgent. Let's slow down. And I say, nah. Nope. And I have known only one saint in my life. And that saint is my paternal grandmother, Thelma. My grandmother was a saint. And she wasn't a saint because she was perfect or holier than everyone else or without desires. She was very much human, imperfect yet grounded in a compassion that I wish I knew how to inhabit. My grandmother rose before dawn and tended to the yard, to her husband, and after spending the morning in the kitchen making breakfast and lunch for her 8 children and her noisy and unruly grandchildren, would sit down in the afternoon and watch her soaps. And I mean all the soaps, The Young and the Restless, As the World Turns, General Hospital, Guiding Light, Days of Our Lives. Some of you are nodding, so I think you know them. And then, after that, then she would take a 5. And this wasn't a nap, no. She would pause and rest in her bed to catch up with herself and her God. She would allow herself stillness, rest, she said, to hear what needed to be heard, to get clarity, to be present to her Maker who was ever present for her. Every day. She did this every day. My Granny Thelma died this year at 95. She was buried on her 96th birthday. And ever since, I've been thinking about slowing down. I've been thinking about the practice of presence, of rest. And I've been thinking about sanctuary and grace. And I've been thinking about the seduction of capitalism that tells us we need more stuff. We need to have more stuff. We need to keep producing more stuff, accumulating more stuff, more goods, more status. We must be better than we are, work harder and smarter. Read this morning in the news an opinion piece from Astra Taylor in which she said, "We are made to feel on guard, incomplete, and exposed to risk. To cope, we scramble, strive, shoring up ourselves against potential threats. We work hard, shop hard, hustle, get credentials, scrimp and save, invest, diet, self-medicate, meditate, exercise, exfoliate." I don't exfoliate, but people do. And it's never enough. We are never enough. I've been thinking about my grandmother, who did not work outside of the home, who did not earn a paycheck, who accepted the grace of the quiet, ordinary afternoon, who rested every day intentionally to commune with God, and she knew in her bones that she was enough. She embodied the work of the Nap Ministries' Tricia Hersey before it was vogue. She didn't grind, she rested. Her work was the practice of presence. She moved intentionally, slowly, at the pace of breath, of love. Her soap opera indulgence was restoration, believe it or not. Her taking a 5 was prayer, was lingering with God, was sanctuary. Now, my granny lived on a small island surrounded by people who understood communal care, who embodied communal care. Her life was very different from our lives here. I want to be clear about that. Her survival did not depend on grinding out an existence every day in a capitalist system that's indifferent to our human needs and views everything and everyone as a resource for production and profit. And she understood something. She understood that she was enough just as she was, that she was held by a benevolent mystery she called God. She understood grace and gave herself the gift of slowing down every single day to receive that grace. She did it in the way she cooked, in the way she tended and spent time with her orchids, ixoras, bird of paradise. She did it by taking a 5 after an indulgent viewing of soap operas. In her simple life, she created sanctuary in the grace that was freely available in the world. She didn't solve any of the world's problems, but she did create beauty in her garden, in her home, in the people she nourished. She did create safety for anyone from the village who wandered by, friend, family, stranger. She impacted an entire village by practicing the deep kind of presence that arises when one knows that they, are enough and they are participating in the grace of the world. There's this quote by Audre Lorde that gets used a lot, and in it she says, "The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house." I may have said that years ago in this very pulpit. The master's tools, Lord says, will never dismantle the master's house. And I'll tell you what, the constant busy is the master's tool. And lately I've begun to truly understand that it will not allow us to dismantle the master's house. Being busy and overwhelmed will not help us address the climate crisis. It will not help us secure, for example, trans rights, which are human rights. It will not help us create sanctuary for all sentient souls because, as you know, all souls are sacred and worthy. Being busy, from what I can see, just makes us tired. And tired people cannot ask new and generative questions. Tired people cannot foster alternative communities of real care. Tired people cannot heal or be healed. Tired people cannot pay attention and truly notice, cannot feel the depth of our connection to all that is. Tired people do what toddlers do. And what do toddlers do when they're tired? They melt down. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing, aren't we? The times are urgent. Let's slow down. Let's slow down to let grace in. The world has broken our hearts again and again. Can we let deep rest, the cultivation of sanctuary, with and for each other, be our salvation? Can we let grace, the presence of mystery that is there if we slow down to pay attention, be part of our salvation in this life? The author Wayne Muller of Sabbath reminds us, with rest we quench the thirst that drives the busy. With rest we invite Sabbath tranquility. We invite a time in which we taste what we have been given. Take delight in what we already have and see that it is good. In quiet stillness, we can identify our genuine needs with more precision and separate them more easily from our mindless wants and desires. He says, if we do not disengage, if we stay on the wheel of desire, if we do not stop and pray and sing and walk and make music, the pattern of our addictive craving is free to escalate without limit, and we inadvertently create a life of terrible suffering for ourselves and those we love. When I hear that, I think, we are a nation in need of Sabbath, of sanctuary. We're a nation in need of stopping and lingering and praying and singing and walking and connecting and creating art and healing by slowing down. A nation in need of disengaging from our devices and vices, shifting from being content creators to creators of connection with the content that, the love that the natural world so readily and freely provides. We are a people and a nation in need of heeding the poet Mary Oliver's call. We must change our lives, by which she means linger for just a little while, out of your busy and very important day. Linger and connect with the story and heart of another. We will not be on this earth very long. Linger and notice. Notice right here at our fingertips, the goldfinches, the thistles, the air, the stranger, the friend, the gift and grace of being alive on this fresh morning in a broken world. Maybe in that noticing, we'll come up with new ways of adopting practices of communal care. I'm so grateful to Erin for giving us a list of ways we can do communal care. We can practice communal care that allows for all of us, all sacred and worthy souls, to have opportunities to pause long enough to be enveloped by grace and receive the gift of sanctuary and of healing. Grace cannot find us if we insist on always being busy, if we're always scrolling, judging, reacting, rushing, and we won't solve the crises of these urgent times by using the very tools that created those crises, remember the Master's tools will not. We who are enough must pause long enough to allow grace to change our lives. We were not made to grind. Muller says, if we do not disengage, if we stay on the wheel of desire, if we do not stop, like my granny tried to teach me how to stop and pray and sing and walk, the pattern of our addictive craving is free to escalate without limit until we inadvertently create a life of terrible suffering for ourselves and those we love. When next asked, how are you doing? How have you been? I want to be able to say, I'm not doing much. I got close this morning. I was like, good? I want to be able to say I'm practicing presence in every sphere of my life, slowing down. I am practicing what my grandmother tried to teach me, lingering in relationship with that mystery greater than myself. I have discarded the Master's tools. I am trusting in the grace of the unseen world that says, we are enough. I'm engaging in communal care. I'm taking a 5. I am resting as resistance, as the Nap Ministries' Tricia Hersey puts it. And I'm embodying stillness and sanctuary. I am changing my life. Friends, will you join me? So may it be. Amen.
Would you please rise in body, in spirit, in voice? Join me in singing the other song that we spent some time singing together at the very beginning of the service, Sanctuary. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Please join me in singing our closing affirmation. Behind all our differences and beneath our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one. And together throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars, throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars.
Friends, thank you for being here this morning, for making this space sanctuary by your very presence. Thanks again to our musicians, Brian, Lacey, Gio. Thank you so much for providing worship in music. I am so grateful. May grace find us and bless us with the gift of lingering and the gift of sanctuary, slowing us down enough to notice new tools, new possibilities for love, liberation, and salvation in this life. So may it be. Amen.